Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. With me is meteorologist Brian Good here. Today I'm going to do a video because there's several things I need to draw and explain, and typing it out is going to be a challenge to do that. First off, the current setup, the front's out of here. We've got just a few areas of fog in the region now in the Ohio Valley. That's going to fade out as we head through the day, in the morning period actually, and a really nice day. Lots of sunshine can be expected as we head throughout this Friday, and temperatures on the cool side, 52 now, will be in the mid-60s. Really nice weather for the entire weekend, and 70s. So we're going to get a nice little ridge here as we head into next week. And here are the models. And again, the way you look at this, there's three being displayed here. This is the GFS, the Euro, and the Canadian. And here are the ensembles of each one of those models, which ensembles are the best way to go because when they consider all the possibilities and give you kind of the mean, you know, they kind of smooth out the ones that are kind of all over the place and kind of give you a general idea. These can show sometimes the extreme scenarios and be off. So and that's why they look a lot different. And that's important. And that's how we really can get a confidence level in a certain model, because take the GFS. It is showing a low pressure in the plain states, a bit of a trough in the northeast, but sort of a ridging in our area. But when you look at the ensemble, it says there's a trough digging in our area. So it has the low pressure more to the east on the ensemble here versus the operational. So the GFS is already having problems. When you look at the Euro, it's showing the low being held back still as we head into election day, and the same story is shown up in the ensembles, and pretty much the same deal in the Canadian. So these are the ones that we're looking at more, which means the northern stream feature as we head into election day is probably going to be still the more dominant one, and it's got very little moisture with it. So if the slow were to roll out, we would then get some rain chances for election day, but it looks like it's going to hold back. We'll monitor that and let you know how that trends. All right, then as we head into the weekend, Veterans Day, 11th and 12th, 13th of November, then we see some differences again. Looking just at the operational ones. Now, the Canadian, we lose the image because it doesn't have images for that far out. But the GFS finally brings the low out toward Veterans Day and into that weekend. The Canadian, or the Euro, actually combines it with a deep trough and pulls in some cold air behind it. We'll take more of a look at that in a second. And when you look at the ensembles are showing more the idea of maybe some tugging that's going on, more of a phasing, if you will, of that low that rolls out in that northern branch feature that comes through. And here's a look at the Euro showing how they're trying to meet up and pull together. If that happens, I'm not talking about snow here, guys, but I'm talking about it could be some chilly rain, especially for Kentucky, and some really cold air could get dragged behind it briefly before we warm back up again. But it's interesting to see that this low could get pulled in and phased together right over I-65 corridor in the eastern part of the United States. Again, some of the models like the GFS keep it separate, and therefore this cold snap is not as dramatic because it doesn't feel the pull and the tug of the phasing. So we'll see how it plays out. Looking down the road even more around the 19th, this is where the models have been all over the place. I mean, if you look at the GFS now, you snow lovers are going to go nuts. But it's, you know, the wavelengths are getting shorter, so we're getting more activity on the northern branch features coming in. But the general idea of the ensembles is that colder weather is showing up toward the 19th, and it's just a matter of is there going to be a storm or not, and that's something that this model just can't pick out this far in advance very well. So what will help us out? The indices. This is the latest long-range Euro indices. Goes all the way out to just before Christmas. When you see the black here, the black squiggly line, that is what we call the control. That is, at times, it's hard to explain, but it's basically the run of the model that is sometimes more dramatic. The green, though, is pretty much what you need to look at the ensemble of it. NAL, we want here's the zero line right here, this little dash. We want the NAL to go negative to get some blocking to slow these storm systems down, to get something significant if you want snow. And overall, there's a trend as we get into December to get it neutral or negative. The AO, Arctic Oscillation, we want that to go negative. As we head into December especially, a good sign of a potential tanking. Now, the control is more dramatic than the green ensemble, but both of them take it negative. As you look at the EPO, we want it to go positive. It is showing signs as well of going positive as we head into portions of December. And the PNA, you want that to go positive. That too is showing signs, but also showing signs of negative before that, which means still a chance for some warm-ups to take place. So still a lot of questions in the long term. I know some people are sending out the CFS model and how it shows all the snow on the ground in December. It changes every single day. It's not worth looking at. It really isn't. So don't get focused on that. Just know that the pattern is setting up, that we're going to get some colder shots of air and perhaps something more organized later in the month and certainly into December. But really, we still got some warm air to enjoy and deal with. So we'll be tracking that in the coming days and weeks. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend.